Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Options Mentor. And last week we had a fly calendar combo. You might remember it worked very well for me. And you know what? You guys know I don't normally do this. I'm going to show you a similar trade this week because I look for this week for it to work again. There's not a lot of general market news that I can see this coming week. There is earnings, though, and earnings can really push things around. And of course, we have the war there in the Middle East, in the background. If that would happen to escalate, of course, that would really get oil going, and I'm sure would affect the market. At the moment, it appears the market isn't as affected by it because I've read some analysts who are talking about, hey, if there's a war on, they can't raise rates. Pretty ghoulish in my mind, but that's the way the market works. So let me show you this trade here. I'll be sharing my screen. The Thinkorswim TD Ameritrade Analyze screen is where I like to live. I had somebody ask me this week if I could just go over what I do with Thinkorswim, what features I use, and I'm going to do that in a future video. But be forewarned, I don't use a lot of the features relative to my goodness. There's so many features on here, but I stick to what I do, and I don't use a whole lot on it. But I'll go over that in a future video. But as we can see, the VIX got elevated this week. It's up near 20. We ended the day on a down note, supposedly just fear over where we're going with interest rates and, of course, the war over the weekend. It's tough for anybody to really want to be long over the weekend without some kind of protection. So the trade I'm looking to do on Monday is a trade that I'll do as long as we're not completely haywire, like over 25 on the VIX or something. Like if we have a 80, 100 point down move, then I would step back. But if we're anywhere around where we are now on the VIX, I'm going to do something like this. Now, remember, you're going to have to kind of move the strikes around based on where we're trading. If we do, say, open up 20 or down 20, then you wouldn't want to use the same strikes. But I'm doing this based on the Friday close, which was 43.27. And the first thing I want to do is put on this unbalanced fly. And as you can see, I'll be putting on something with it pretty quick because it's extremely bullish, right? And it covers us all the way up. And what I've done here is I sold two of the 43.80s. I bought a 43.50 call and a 4400 call around it. And it gives you this nothing but net. You can make money all the way up. On the downside, though, of course, that's where your loss is. So what are we going to do about that? Well, what I would look to do here is maybe put on a 5-lot calendar. You could probably go with 4, depending on how you want to do it. All this calendar is doing two things. Obviously, it's protecting your downside, and it's also a theta producer, right? Because we're not getting much theta out of this fly at all, right? It's actually negative theta. And if we do this, now we got a nice theta producing trade. Look at the theta on this, over 500. And this is selling this coming Friday's 42.90 put, and then buying Monday's 42.90 put to 23rd. So you can see the fly and the calendar, the short of the calendar, are both for this week. And I would like to be out of this trade at 10% Wednesday or Thursday, certainly by Thursday. I did take mine into expiration day. I really don't like doing that. I had something come up, and that's a position I found myself in, and I was in it for about 3 hours and got out at over a 15% profit on Friday. But I'd much rather be out of this on Thursday because it's tough on expiration day. You can get a lot of strange volatility and price movement if you're in a spread on that day. So that's what I would look to do here. Now, if it probably a 5-lot, I'm going to do in my case. If it does move down pretty well, maybe you get down below 42.50. I would look for it to hold 42.50 a little bit. And if it can hold 42.50, then what you could do is just go lower and put on a second calendar, maybe 4,200, just another put calendar. And the same thing on the upside. If we really get taking off up here and maybe get to 43.80, 43.90, then I would look to maybe do a 4,400 calendar. Maybe you could do that a little smaller, but look at this. We got lots of room. So you put this on, and then you pretty much immediately put on the calendar, the put calendar. Stick with that if we can. If we need to adjust on the upside at about 43.80 or 90, we can add this 4,400 calendar. And on the downside, I didn't model it, but if we get down below 4250, starting to break down 4230, that type of thing, then put on a 4400 put calendar. You'll have two of them down there, and you should be in good shape with that. So that's what I have for you guys this week. I look forward to hearing your comments. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends about it so they'll subscribe. I think in the last week, I've grown several percent. Just in the last week, this channel's catching on. People are hearing about it and want to learn about how to trade options for income. So have a great weekend, everyone. And I will be talking with you again next week. Bye-bye.